So now, the moment you've all been waiting for, we are kicking off the simulation this week. In the simulation, you and your teammates are entering the international microcomputer industry. In other words, you are making laptop computers. But imagine you're not in 2017. Imagine this is like the end of the 90s or the start of the millennium when not very many people had laptop computers. You'll see as you have to choose features for your products that some of these features seem a little dated to you. So just suspend disbelief. You're not in 2017 where every kid and his grandma has a laptop computer, okay? So what are you actually aiming to achieve in this simulation? So you are competing against your classmates, and your objective is to profitably capture a dominant market position. So you want the largest market share. Essentially, you want your revenues to be the largest relative to the total available revenues in the industry. So you want the biggest piece of the pie, but you want to be able to do that profitably. If you have to undercut your competitors and charge such a low price that you can't turn a profit, you'll eventually go out of business if you are producing at a cost higher than what you're selling at. So we're looking at both market share and profitability here. Within your teams, each member will have a tactical area of responsibility. This is very important for measuring individual performance as well as team performance. But you'll establish this in quarter one. You'll assign someone to marketing, finance, distribution, production, and then an overall team leader who usually also takes on the HR piece of the simulation. So you'll be given a fair amount of information on the current situation in the market. In later rounds, you'll be given information on past performance, but since this is the first quarter and you have yet to actually enter the market, you don't have any past performance information yet, but you do have a lot of information about potential customers and how the market operates. You'll use this information to make decisions, and each quarter, which in this class represents 1 week, at the end of the week, you will upload decisions and one set of decisions per team. That is it. And then we'll process those decisions because you're making decisions in the same time that your competitors and classmates are making decisions, and we'll see how you performed each quarter. So this is an international simulation. You can choose to establish sales offices in different regions, and manufacturing, I think you will set up manufacturing at least initially in Shanghai. There are 3 primary segments in the market, and you will, if you walk through the simulation as you should, you will learn more about all these segments and what they want out of a computer. But you have the workhorse, the travelers, and the Mercedes segment. You as a team need to think about whether you're going to pursue a broad strategy that targets all of these segments, or a niche strategy that targets 1 or 2 of these segments, as well as the trade-off between the additional costs to create the features these segments want versus managing your costs and managing your price. So I told you your objective is to profitably capture as much market share as possible. Let me tell you specifically how I will measure your performance in this class. Starting in quarter 3, you'll be using the balanced scorecard. So if you got that question wrong on the midterm, this is a good time to go ahead and review what the balanced scorecard is. In the earlier quarters, I'm looking primarily for your strategic thinking because I don't have performance data to go off of yet. So if you tell me that you're pursuing a niche differentiation strategy and targeting that Mercedes segment, then you actually execute a strategy where all your sales are in that workhorse segment, then your strategic thinking and your tactical execution are not aligning, and that would be a warning sign to me. So what are you actually doing this quarter? You're naming the company and assigning organizational responsibilities and deciding how, as a team, you will work together. You're also establishing your initial strategic direction, considering your resources and capabilities, and what the market opportunity is. You're trying to kind of solve for those 2 things and determine your initial strategy. And as you go and think about what segment to target, I also want to give you a little bit of a primer on thinking about um, consumer psychology, because this isn't something that's covered in our class and it's probably only touched upon lightly in marketing. But think about your customers as buying benefits, not features. Okay? So, what do I mean by that? So, your traveler segment, for example, they want to be able to use their computer on the road. That's a benefit. That's not a specific feature. You don't build a computer you don't install a feature where it can be used on the road. But there are a number of different features that logically allow it to be used on the road. So you want to make it slim and portable. You want to give it the right connections and things that will make it easy to use on the road. Okay, so those are features, but your customers are thinking about benefits, not features. It's your job to think about those features that give customers those benefits. But you also have to think about the trade-offs in giving those additional benefits. How much is it going to cost you as a company, and what's the return on that feature? So there's diminishing marginal returns oftentimes. The more memory you put in a computer, at a certain point, customers maybe will be willing to pay a few dollars more, but not hundreds of dollars more for that additional extra gigabyte of memory. So think about that. So what does this actually look like in the simulation? If you go to log into the simulation and you go to quarter one, you should come to this screen. You have this task list on your left-hand side. You will walk through every single one of these tasks sequentially. So start at the top and work your way down. So here we are, welcome to Marketplace. Then you see these two tabs at the top. You have a story, which is usually a video that's less than a minute long to watch, and then lecture, which is very short reading. So watch the video, read the lecture, move to the next tab. Watch the video, read the lecture, move to the next tab. You'll see these certain tasks have a pencil next to them. That means there's going to be a video, a lecture, and then this third tab called Workspace where you actually have to input something, okay? So input the name for your company, modify and save down here. Make sure you save your decisions, okay? Here we go, marketing research. Here's where you'll learn all about the market and the different customer segments. And then here's where you have to start talking about your goals and strategy. Once again, you have a video, you have a lecture, and then you have this workspace. So I highly recommend watching the videos and reading the lectures before just diving in and trying to formulate strategy, because it gives you necessary information. Okay, you'll have a few more of these decisions to make under human resources. That's where you set individual responsibilities and norms. So walk through all of these sequentially. At the end, you'll see a summary of your decisions, right? You'll see a final check, which this is the software just telling you if you've left something blank. And if you don't have any errors or warnings, then go ahead and click that submit. But remember, you're working as a team. So while I encourage every single individual to go through, watch the videos, and read the lecture, and remember, each quarter builds on each other, so don't assign one teammate to do quarter one and a different teammate to do quarter two. It will not work out well for you. One set of decisions is all you need to submit. Multiple people can work on the software, so you just save your input, so when one of your teammates logs in, they'll see what you've already saved. Don't hit submit until all your decisions have been made as a team and you're ready to submit your decisions.